I call the member for Greenway.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. During the parliamentary recess, I had the opportunity to meet with some families in Greenway whose lives have been changed by the diagnosis of a family with type 1 diabetes. For Donna Meads-Barlow, founder of the Danny Foundation, her life was changed in the most tragic of circumstances. Donna's daughter Danny was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 5. She and her family managed her disease, and Danny grew into a beautiful, outgoing teenager with gorgeous strawberry blonde hair. One night in November 2011, Danny went to bed and never woke up. Donna asked me if I had ever heard of the syndrome known as dead in bed. I had not, but I came to understand the words of several constituents who had contacted me in the weeks preceding our meeting, that the parents of children with type 1 diabetes can't sleep with their bedroom door closed. The Joyner family was one of many who had contacted me about type 1 diabetes, a disease which has no cure and is not attributable to lifestyle factors. Emily Joyner is 18, if I may quote from the words of her mother Sue. My eldest daughter Emily was diagnosed in 2004 with type 1 diabetes at the age of 8. We have no family history of type 1 diabetes, so this came as quite a shock. We did not know then what our family would need to deal with, let alone Emily. In the last 10 years alone, Emily has had to do over 21,840 finger pricks to check her blood glucose level, insert over 1,210 cannula sites in her stomach for her insulin therapy pump to avoid multiple injections daily. Emily and us, her family, have never slept more than 3 hours at a time, as we have to check her blood glucose level through the night to make sure she does not fall into a coma due to either low or high blood glucose levels. This is known as dead-in-bed syndrome. Mr Speaker, children should not have to endure this. Their families should not have to live like this. But I want to thank Emily, her mum Sue, and the local residents who shared with me how they do indeed endure and the reason why Emily's quality of life has improved. The answer is continuous glucose therapy, or CGT. Emily was kind enough to show me the sensor that sits subcutaneously on her tummy and measures her blood glucose level on a continuous basis every 5 minutes. A transmitter sends information to a receiver which shows Emily's blood glucose level, and her condition can be managed so much more effectively. Again, as her mum writes, I cannot tell you what peace of mind this has brought to our family. Not only does it take the guesswork or fearfulness of what Emily may be, but it is like being able to see inside her body and watch what is happening and being able to control it more closely. This amazing technology lets you see what we were not able to before, but also alarms us to any potential low or high blood glucose level before causing danger to Emily. As I did my own research after our meeting, I came to appreciate the real stumbling block for this medical breakthrough not being more widespread. Its cost is around $5,000 a year. Without a subsidy under the National Diabetes Services Scheme or cost defrayed under the PBS, it remains prohibitively expensive for many families. But I also note estimates from Diabetes Australia that the cost to government in managing type 1 diabetes in individuals is $16,000 a year. I doubt there would be anyone in this parliament who would not want sufferers of this disease, and I've seen estimates of over 130,000 Australians with type 1 diabetes from receiving the treatment they need. This was the central message of the family members who visited me, and I thank them sincerely for doing so. I realise there are what seems countless issues that demand our attention as local members. This one did demand my attention, and it got it. And I raise it today for the fact that we would be representing all of us, some sufferers and their families, and we would all want to see them receive the treatment that could prolong or improve life for themselves and those who love them. And if I can end with the words from Donna Meads-Barlow and commend her for her advocacy and those of my local residents for their advocacy also. The Danny Foundation would be happy to work in partnership with the government to implement evidence-based technology, improve the quality of life of those living with type 1 diabetes and reduce the overall cost to government of managing this disease.
I call the member for Wright.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I acknowledge the member for Greenway for a valuable contribution in bringing what is a debilitating disease to the attention of the House, and I thank you for your contribution.